Hello and welcome to this week's GG Weekend Watch, where we have a really exciting one for you this week. So many star performers making their seasonal debut. There really are top quality horses everywhere you look. And we're going to be looking at the action at Haydock and Ascot. We'll be doing so in the company of Andrew Mount and Rob Plumbridge, who is replacing Daryl Carter this week, who is down at Wincanton. So, of course, Rob is a very able deputy, as we know, and the results of the lads spoke for themselves last weekend because they had yet another solid time of things, because Scriptwriter won at 4-1 for Daryl, and Knight and Lambourne at 5-1 won for Andrew. Banbridge 11-8 won as Daryl's Nap. Sole Pretender at 9-1 though did place for Andrew in the same race. Judicial 5-1 placed second for Daryl, and Exalted Angel 8-1 finished third for Andrew. Harrovian 6-1 placed for Andrew, and Borbali 16-1 on the SP. I was a bit miffed about that. Placed for Kate. Did tip him off at 40-1 though, but anyway, I'll still take it all the same anyway, as long as I can hang on to the lads' coattails. I do not mind, but more like that this week then, please. And we must kick off because we have so much to look forward to, and we begin with a graduation chase at Haydock at 150. This race for 4-year-olds and over 2 mark 5.5 furlongs. Just 4 runners here. Hitman is the short price favourite at 8-13, but can he finally get his head back in front, please, Rob?
Yeah, under a bit of pressure. Ever since Daryl's had his haircut, he's absolutely flying, isn't he? Banging.
It's like the opposite of Samson, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like he loses his hair and he gains power.
Unbelievable. I might try it. Can Hitman get beat? Yeah, I think he can get beat. He should win this on all sort of ratings and all that sort of stuff. He really should win. He's had a prep run as well, gets his ground that he's happy on, so everything's in place. But there's a lot of 2s and 3s next to his name, and I think in some of those races he's sort of picked up the pieces and bagged a second or a third. And I'm actually going to take him on with Manila Drama here, who I think is a really honest one from Don McCain. He's running some high company, he's winning grade 1s and equipping himself well. And crucially, he's won a grade 2 here at this level. And Haydock's not to everyone's liking, not as a place or a racecourse. And I'd like to think that he can go well here. Back at that course, he's 1 and 2 at Haydock. He had a really respectable prep run as well, so he'll be nice and fit and firing. And yeah, he'll do for me at around 5-1 to take on the favourite.
Yeah, like it a lot then. 5-1 back in the course he's previously won at, to take on the 4-7 Fab at the head of the market for Rob. Andrew, how do you play it?
Yeah, I've got to take on Hitman because he's Hitman, and he's won once from his last 9 starts. What was he, 7-1 on or something like that for that round? And I know he only just got chinned last time, but there's perhaps something not quite right in between the ears there. And you know, if he's probably going to finish second again, you would have thought. But I'd take Manila Drama as well. I think he's best left-handed. He's only won once from 5 starts going the other way around. He's had 8 runs left-handed, 4 wins, 4 seconds. You know, he's in a grade a little below what he normally races in, as Rob was talking about. This is a grade 2 graduation chase. Itchy feet. This is an incredible horse. He's probably the worst grade 1 chase winner you've ever seen, you know, in terms of what he's done subsequently since that novice success at Sandown in 2020. Every time my former radio colleague Ken Peterson mentions him, he says he's small, he should go back over hurdles. And he's had a wind operation, but he just hasn't got the size and scope for chasing, despite that small field win. I don't think these portable fences will be ideal for him. I think he'll be in trouble. So I thought there were 2 possible winners, Manila Drama and Earn River. I mean, Earn River tipped up at Aintree, didn't he, in grade 1 company behind Miller's back. And then last time out, he's gone to Sandown. Again, another one who's probably not best going right-handed. And you look at his form since his rules debut when he's gone left-handed. First, fell in the grade 1 when you know, still in with a chance. So you know, maybe the bet would be to back both of those 2, touch the 2, maybe do 2 straight forecasts, Manila Drama and Earn River, to beat Hitman into second. But I prefer Manila Drama just over Earn River, but I think it's between the pair.
Yeah, I'm happy that the pair of you two are thinking along the same lines, because I was also very keen to take on Hitman. He always is a horse I want to take on. Yet people still seem to want to side with him and still give him the excuses. I mean, his second last time out, they were saying, well, yes, but he was giving lumps of weight away and he blew up and he didn't quite get there, or he was boxed in a
next time someone's told you that, ask them how much money they've had on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like all these people are saying John Bond's too short at 2-1 for the Arkle. You say, well, how much have you laid? And because you can go into Betfair and lay 9-4 now if you like. You're going to do that, or you're going to lay me at some 5-2, and they go very quiet then. So
exactly, money where your mouth is.
Try and back it up. Yeah, back it up with hard cash.
Exactly, where the money is. Exactly. So how much have you actually had on Hitman then to still be siding with him, and therefore how much more are you going to continue to have on him? So I haven't ever had money on him, and I'm delighted I haven't, to be honest, because he's also always trying to.
Because you're not insane.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's it. Well, I don't know now. I don't know. That's very disputable. But I'm also taking him on with Earn River, though. And I'm going a different direction to a pair of you two, going Earn River and with the left-handed angle. Because as you say, apart from when he went to Kelso, then making his rules debut, he is unbeaten left-handed apart from that fall at Aintree. And when we saw him at Sandown last time out, he was jumping out to his left. So much happier, hopefully, back at a left-handed track. Haydock should really suit him. And yeah, when he tipped up at Aintree, first try then in Grade 1 company, it was just an obviously mistake there. And he was banging contention still up until that point anyway. And it was early enough to see how it was going to unfold. So yeah, Earn River then for me, the pair of you two with Manila Drama. Right, we head to Ascot now for the Grade 2 Chanel Farmer 1965 chase for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 5 at 2:05. We get to see Presse or Presse back out again, but he is another short price favourite. Hitman has also been declared for here, as well as Haydock. Do just watch out for that. But Andrew, can Venetia Williams break this winless streak with this lad?
Yeah, what's her record now? Looking at this, 0 from 23 in the past fortnight. She's not had a great deal of those who've sort of been favourite. I think 4 of them. So yeah, maybe it's a bit too early to say that the yards out of 4, there's a problem with it. Tricky race this one, because we know Presse likes going left-handed, but when he runs right-handed, he jumps out to his left, but still wins doing handsprings. So he'll probably do that again here. If this race were a little bit deeper, I might think, not for me. Even, I'm still thinking, well, he did get slammed last time out, and he does keep jumping out to his left, on right-handed tracks. Hitman, we've talked about regarding the Haydock race. St. Calvados needs good ground. Won't get it here by the looks of it. So, he came back to form in the spring, but whether he can do it on this sort of ground first time out remains to be seen. Cool Cody was sort of attracted a bit of support, didn't he, for the Paddy Power Gold Cup last week? Made a mistake at the 4th and knocked the stuffing out of him. So this is an afterthought, obviously, but not beyond the realms of possibility that he can sort of plod round into a place, although he's yet to race here in his long career. So the fact that he's avoided the place makes me think Connections would rather run him the other way round. The interesting one is Do Your Job. Obviously he's he's doubly declared. Is he doubly declared? No, he's just got the one entry here. But again, he's had wind surgery since disappointing on his comeback. He's a horse who generally finishes first or second in his races, goes particularly well when fresh, particularly well early season. Returned from wind surgery last year to win on his comeback. I mean, I put him up as a bet, I think, last time behind Riders on the Storm and Hitman at Aintree. He's run an absolute shocker. He was about 9-2 into 5-2 favourite, and finished 21 lengths back. Draw a line through that, and he probably doesn't deserve to be a bigger price as he is. So I'll go Do Your Job.
Cool, Do Your Job.
Just for the sake of taking on Presse.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Just for the sake of that, then. Yeah, I mean, he is declared tomorrow, isn't that the 18th then? Yeah, tomorrow at Ascot, but also for this. So yeah, no, you are correct that he is doubly declared. But like I say, if he chooses to take in this instead, then 20-1 looks a very fair price. About Do Your Job for this race, and a good way to play it for Andrew. Rob, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to take him on, but I was really struggling with what with. I mean, Hitman's going to come out. Yeah, that Venetia form is a tad worrying. I just think a lot of them just want to run, and then you'll start seeing a fire in the winners when a bit more rain starts settling in, because we've had such a dry summer that I think a few of them probably want a bit deeper ground, which is just going to start to get as we get into winter. I'm probably not going to have much of a play in this, but I was very tempted to have a little dabble on St Calvados, especially with David Maxwell in the saddle.
Yes.
Well, super David Maxwell. Yeah. Purely because his record fresh is really, really good. I think he was fresh last time in the King George, where he was third. That was on soft ground. And then he's had a couple of wins as well early in his career, going fresh. So, for a lack of a better idea, really, I'll have a very small play on St Calvados just to win, straight win, just in case Long Press fails to fire.
Yeah, fails to fire first time up. Then 8-1 about St Calvados. Absolute scenes again. Then if David Maxwell was in the winners' enclosure after basically, by the sounds of it, having his arm forced then to buy these 3 ex-Andrew Brook horses and for Paul Nicholls, that he couldn't possibly have let them go. So
sorry to interrupt. Just go back to Venetia. Last 30 days, 0 from 25. Now, the betting suggests she should have had 4.5 winners from those 25 horses. So that would seem to be statistically significant. So, yeah, maybe there is something in it. And like you say, perhaps not being able to get as much work into them as hoped at home, given the dry conditions. And we just haven't had the soft conditions at the track yet, except at Market Raising today, by the looks of it.
Yeah, and they carry on, I think. Yeah, so but like you say, we know that we associate soft conditions with the yard, and maybe they haven't been able to get them out then and working as they would have liked at home because of the conditions. So yeah, there is actually behind that then potentially some stats that do back up the form or lack of at the minute. But we do have a more competitive race now at Haydock with the Stayers Handicap Hurdle. This is a premier handicap for 4-year-olds and over 3 miles at 225. And again, sorry lads, I'm going to kick us off here because I'm being very unoriginal because I am looking at the head of the market with Run for Oscar. He is currently the 4-1 favourite, but I just think this is going to be another English prize that Charles Burns is going to go back to Ireland with, to be honest. And Run for Oscar, obviously, he hacked up effectively in this Darwich when last seen back over obstacles here. Won at Haydock on his penultimate start though. On the flat, he is a hold-up performer where I don't really see much pace in this race, admittedly, but this race has gone to those held up, though, in recent years, which I'm expecting from Run for Oscar yet again, running off that sweet spot mark of 147 as well, seen to winning effect in 2 of the last 5 years, and he has the handy addition of Daniel King's £5 claim off of his back as well. So it's Run for Oscar for me, Rob. Who do you like?
Yeah, we'll put you off that. Just a double figure rise of a hurdles to contend with, which slightly put me off at his price, but I could certainly see him hacking up here. But I'm going to go for one each way, massive price. The Old Boy Holstone, 33-1, ran a really, really good race last time over an inadequate trip on seasonal reappearance. He was second to Good Risk at All. He's 7-1, third favourite. That rival's got to go significantly up in trip, though. But I just think he's a massive price. I think the more rain, the better for him, obviously. But he's won a Grade 2 here at this distance. Only last year, that was by 13 lengths. That was on heavy, so he clearly, he does need that. Need that rain to come. But I thought 33-1. I thought that'll do for me. He stays all day, and if the fire's still burning, I think if you can get some enhanced places, which I think you will do in this race at the likes of Sky Bet, sort of 5 or 6 places, then he'd be one for me each way, please.
Oh, definitely. 33-1 about the Old Boy Holstone. I always refer to this horse as a tractor because that's just the action he has through heavy ground. He literally just plows through it, doesn't he? How great would that be to see? As long as that's he's recovered enough from that reappearance run then for Holstone. 33-1 for Rob. Andrew, who do you like?
Holstone was on my shortlist. I put him up in this a couple of years ago when he ran behind Roxana in that Weatherby's Mares. Not Weatherby's Mares race, Weatherby Hurdle on reappearance when he raced in the swamp on the inside rail, and he fell in the race. I don't think he was beaten at the time. He'd just been headed, but I thought he was kind of battling on and might have been placed, maybe even won. I see where Rob's coming from with that, and certainly won't put you off. Pace-wise, I mean, one of my other shortlists, Botox is likely to be up there. Now, Botox has run an absolute blinder in that per temps qualifier at Cheltenham last time behind the gambled on Charles Burns runner Shoot First. And you look at that, the winner, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, they've all come from midfield or further back. Now, Botox Has was up with the pace, racing in second, took up the running fairly early, got beaten 2 lengths, beat the next prominent racer by a massive 42 lengths. That was a horse back in ninth. So I thought that was a run worthy of a massive upgrade. Like you say, since they changed this from a fixed brush hurdle to conventional hurdle race, whereas it used to be a front runner's benefit, it now seems to have gone the way of hold-up horses. We're only dealing with 5 races, though. Sam Spinner did make all and Rob home by about 13 or 14 lengths, whatever it was. But then he was running off 139. He won the Grade 1 long walk hurdle next time out, so he's clearly well handicapped. I mean, the last few years, we've had big fields, quite a few front runners. Perhaps the ground's a bit softer on the inside, and the winners have tend to come late wide round the outside. So maybe we'll get some clues in the earlier hurdle races. Another angle as well is that those who ran in a non-handicap last time out, sort of 0 from 22 in the past 5 years, and it's generally helped to have a 1 or 2 next year name. The last 5 winners have been first or second in their prep run, all ran in a handicap, all had a run in the last 6 weeks. That threw up 22 qualifiers over 5 years, 5 winners, all 5 winners in that period, for a profit of £31.50. So that's certainly good news for Holstone and Rob's pick as well. I mean, I was struggling with it a little bit. One I was quite interested in was Wakool, which is where I'm going to nail my colours to, for Nick Alexander. It seems to have taken off since the cheek pieces were added. He's had 10 runs in cheek pieces, 5 wins, 5 places. Back to winning ways at Ayr last time out in his reappearance in late October. Won very easily. That was off a mark of 133. He's gone up, obviously, to 142. Not insurmountable given the manner of that victory. So I'll go Wakool to keep the ball rolling.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, there was some serious stats you were throwing at us then, Andrew. That was great.
Well, we've got so many small field odds on favourites, not much to say about them kind of races. I thought where there was some interest, I might actually do a bit of research and see what we can come up with.
Where the opportunity arises, exactly. Take it then with both hands. Yeah, but Wakool though, 11 to 1 if you had to nail your colours to the mass in this. But you've given us plenty of angles though for people to see them in their own lights and to translate it to their own selections. So fascinating race all the same. And we are back to Haydock now for the Grade 2 Coral Hurdle for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 3 at 240, where here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll, please. One of the most, if not probably actually, if you did a cross-section survey, probably the most exciting horse in jump racing, Constitution Hill. We get to see him back out again. He has been declared because the ground is deemed to be soft enough for him by Nicky Henderson. Touch wood, we do get to see him. He is a short price favourite here though, Andrew. So can anything get near him?
Probably not. Fantastic horse from what we've seen so far, albeit he's only had 3 runs, bolting up in the Supreme Novices last time out. Hopefully he will run and we won't get pictures of Nicky walking the course on the morning of the race and saying, oh no, it's gone tacky or it's gone this, it's gone that, I'm not going to run him. He's up in trip. That's a potential chink in the armour. It's only, 2 miles 3 and a bit. It's probably not going to stop him. I think he'll probably end up winning very easily. So Brewing Up a Storm was one that I think I napped or certainly was very keen on when we did the pod a couple of weeks ago, and he unseated at the first. Always annoying, isn't it? You just want to see your horse run, have a fair crack in the whip, whether they prove not to be good enough or not, it doesn't matter. But so that was obviously
he's going to run, yeah.
That was obviously disappointing. Goshen back over hurdles after his sort of Chase debut debacle. We won't be seeing him over fences again, I'm sure. Right-handed, small field, deep ground possibly by Saturday. Could suit him. Not beyond the realms of possibility that he runs a good race. Full Pleasure, U-Tread. I couldn't have. So I mean, it's an afterthought for Brewing Up a Storm. I thought Constitution Hill probably wins. Maybe Goshen for the forecast if you're desperate to have a bet in the race, but not for me.
Yeah, like I said, you don't have to have a bet in every single race anyway. But if you did want to, there's an option and a way to play it anyway for Andrew. Rob, how do you play it?
No bet for me. I think sometimes as a racing fan, you just got to sit there and enjoy it, haven't you? And like you say, you don't have to bet in every race. I'll just be sat there on Saturday afternoon, hoping he hacks up and goes on to better things.
You can't say that in front of Andrew, though. Daryl and I have said this before, that we're going to be purists and we're just going to sit back and we're going to enjoy the action and for the love of the sport. And the cold killer Andrew there has to go in with an iron heart and say, no, play.
The difference is Rob pays my wages and Daryl doesn't, you see. So I say what I like to Daryl.
You can say whatever you want to him.
He's now going to be
Exactly,
known
yeah.
as the anti-Samson for the rest of the
Anti-Samson. He'll come back to hashtag anti-Samson. What?
Out of my
Keep
own
it rolling.
pocket, I'd just like to say. It's not
Pardon?
my money.
No, yeah. Yeah, if anyone would like a handout, go to Rob. You know exactly where to find him now anyway. And Andrew's absolutely stitched a pair of them up all in one go. Right, we'll just enjoy, hopefully, Constitution Hill absolutely bolting up, showing his well-being then at Ascot. And now, though, we have the big race of the weekend, though, officially in the form of the Grade 1 Betfair Chase for 5-year-olds and over 3 mile, 1.5 furlongs at 3 o'clock at Haydock. And we talk about horses in our last race that are a sure thing. Surely a Plutard is as well, barring incident. Touch wood, that won't happen. Of course, won this race in emphatic style last year, Gold Cup winner as well. So, but from a betting perspective, Rob, I'm going to throw it back to you. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I saw 4 to 6 this morning on a Plutard. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous for a horse that's won 22 lengths.
4 to 6.
Yeah, I think it was on Sky Back. That should be gone now. But I think there was a bit of ease in the betting because of the potential for a bit of rain. I've seen Bristol Demise gone in a little bit, but he's got to be too old, hasn't he, for this? Should have been retired last year, in my opinion. The angle I would play for this, I think a Plutard wins. I mean, if he's 4 to 6 on the day, that would be near enough a max bet for me. But the angle that I will play for the purposes of responsible gambling would be Eldorado Allen without the favourite or the forecast with the Plutard. I think this is exactly the kind of race that he's just going to keep plugging on. They're going to go too fast up top. Bristol Demine throwed on, probably fold when a Plutard goes past. And I think Eldorado Allen, he's done it so many times, he just picks up the pieces, doesn't he? He just keeps on going, jumps his fences, sneaks into second in the last sort of furlong or two. He's done it with like the likes of Shishkin, last year and things like that. He's got a few seconds to his name in good races. So yeah, that would be my play, the 1-2 or without favourite market.
Yeah. So like I say, do just wait for those without the favourite markets. Then Eldorado Allen, though, currently 25 to 1, though, anyway. Or like I say, if you wanted to play the forecast there are some other ways. So you don't have to be, if Rob's got the cold-hearted killer then in him as well for this race to have the betting play in it. So that's the way Rob's playing it. Andrew, how do you play it?
Yeah, so a tricky one in terms of, if you're not, wanting to wade into a Plutard at a short price, I think he'll win. Based on what he did last year, based on what he generally does on left-handed tracks, the improvement he's shown recently. Interesting comments from Rachel Blackmore about how if she could have gone back, she'd have ridden him differently in some of his previous races. Bristol Demise is a difficult one. I think after last year's performance when he ran so badly in this, even though the ground was quicker than ideal, you have to think he's not up to this sort of class now. Is he won something like 1 from his last 13 starts? So I know people have made a case for backing him each way, but then if you're saying he's not going to be good enough to win, then you're kind of taking 2 to 1 on that he finishes second. You might as well just have a bet on him to finish exactly second or something like that. Protectorate, again, bombed out last time, had another wind up. Will he bounce back? Maybe not. I don't want to pay 3 to 1 to find out. Eldorado Allen was a horse I wrote Welsh National down as. So wrote, I actually tapped using my fingers because I'm a modern guy. But yeah, I know sort of he spent a lot of his sort of career over short trips, but the way he stayed on in the Charlie Hall, I thought this got Welsh National written all over him. I was sort of hoping they didn't go for this and that he might rock up fresh for that race, thinking that maybe this will come a little bit too soon, just 3 weeks after his debut. After his reappearance, after a horse who's gone well fresh in the past. But again, I think if I was going to have one without the favourite, I would chance Eldorado Allen as well. And I didn't like Throwdown at all here, despite that win at Wincanton last time out. So I think Plutard will probably do what he did last year and absolutely demolish them. Maybe if you don't want to risk a forecaster without the favourite, just go for a name your distance Plutard to win by half the track.
Yeah, lots of ways to play therefore, like you say. So you can go for the distance bet then for a Plutard, which clearly by some of his wins is definitely not the worst way to play it. Like you say, that's kind of a trouble when you talk about a horse like Bristol Demay. If you want to side them each way, but you don't think he's good enough to win, you're basically throwing away half your bet, really, aren't you? for the win purpose anyway. But then you've got Eldorado Allen for the forecast for exactly second, then fair price no matter what. So both of the lads in agreement on many respects in that contest. Now we do have a better betting race up next at Ascot in the form of a handicap chase for 4-year-olds and over 2 miles and a half of furlong at 3:15, where Edwardstone, oh, that was weird, Edwardstone bids to give away the weight back in a handicap. Things you love to see in this game, and I don't know why more trainers don't really run the graded horses in handicaps, but this is good to see, Andrew. So who do you like?
Yeah, this is a belting little race, isn't it? Yeah, fascinating to see what happens with Edwardstone. Although again, it looks like an afterthought, doesn't it? Potentially, so that's got to be a bit of a concern. But I wouldn't. I mean, you look at it, sort of thing, 3-1 Edwardstone. I know he bombed out last time, but end of a long hard season, he won the Arkle shortly beforehand. It's no surprise to see him bounce back here and win this under a big weight. Ferrero Bamboo Rocher was the one I was looking at. I kind of sort of put myself off a bit looking at those Venetia stats, but he's had a run now, wasn't it? A solid effort behind Time White over course and distance last time out, and I think you could make a good case for Time White again as well. He's been here, done it already this season, hasn't he? Albeit on good ground. They did pull him out on heavy ground last season and on soft, so it's a bit of a weather watch for that one. Third time lucky, jumped terribly, didn't he, in the Hall and Gold Cup? I mean, he's not the first second season chaser to running that race on their reappearance. Quicker pace against more experienced, proper top class rivals, and come unstuck in the jumping department. Not beyond the realms of possibility that he could bounce back. And Moolah Gold, who usually runs Ascot so well, but was very disappointing behind Time White. Finishing 7th, being 61 lengths, but the blinkers go on for the first time. And when he wore cheek pieces for the first time, he finished second by a short head. That was here at Ascot. Might even have been in this race, I think, last year. So it's just a case of whether, he's won on soft ground. He probably handles what we're going to get on Saturday. So I'd probably chance on Moolah Gold, 20-1 in the first time blinkers. Not each way. It's a kind of like I was going to say shit or bust, but it's a family show, so I won't. But
no, so you best not.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll go a Moolah Gold. It's,
a Moolah Gold though, like the win
tricky
over.
race, this one.
It is, isn't it? Like say 20-1, then a Moolah Gold first time blinkers. If he takes back to that, going back, what was his, as you say, previously his favourite track anyway. But some good shouts for a fair few of those, including the Panda's favourite Chocolate Ferrero Bamboo. But who do you like, Rob?
Yeah, I thought Edwardstone at the top of the market. I could not be having that for all the reasons Andrew mentioned, and also that his record's so bad fresh. This is, like I said, it was not going to be an afterthought, so could not be having that. So it gives a bit of value elsewhere. So Scottish is coming in at featherweight, in really good form, but he looked a bit of a tricky ride last time out in a 3-runner race, so that put me off him. The one that I really liked was Time White. He's a big old horse made for fences. I think he's got some big races in him. Like Andrew says, probably have to keep an eye on the weather and check it doesn't go too soft. But he showed last time that he is a really good chaser. Paul Nicholls is flying at the moment. He's got everything, schooled to death. I think he's going to be rated a lot higher in time over fences with Time White. He's won over course and distance. He's going to be fit for this. I think there's loads in his favour, and I was really keen on him at around 6-1. I think we've seen a few times in his career that he can be a really, really classy horse. He's won some races really impressively, but it's just not consistent. And I'm hoping that he's going to find that this year, that bit of consistency where he's going to string a few races together. So yeah, I'm with Time White. I'm quite keen on him.
Yeah, completely fair. He does seem to be growing up, doesn't he, Time White? Where before, I mean, it was this time last year where he tried to run out, wasn't it? He did effectively at the first. And like I've always had a bit of an issue with him at the back of my mind because of that. But to be fair to him, agree with the pair of you that I think he is just maturing the whole time anyway. So yeah, 11-2 then for Time White for Rob. And our final scheduled race is the 3:35 at Haydock, where we have a 0-145 handicap chase for 4-year-olds and over over 3 mile, 1.5 furlongs. So the same course and distance as the Betfair Chase. Another very open contest. So Rob, back to you, please. Who do you like?
Sure, I thought this was interesting. All the last 10 renewals, they were 10 to 1 or shorter. So looking for something closer to the top of the betting. Also, this 3 miles at Haydock does take a little bit of getting, and I was keen to avoid something that was coming off a layoff, maybe something that had a run and had fitness. The last 3 winners of this have all had a run, so that was sort of the criteria that I was looking at. So I was looking at something with a little bit of class at the sort of top of the handicap, and I came on the joint top weight Lord de Mesnil, has had a run. We've seen a lot of top weights this season winning the big handicaps. We saw that with Frodon, and there's been numerous others at the start of this season. He stays absolutely all day long. He stays further than this. He's won at 3 miles 4 on soft ground. He'll love the bit of rain that's come. He's had his prep run, which was a good second. So that's another tick in the box. Yeah, I thought it was an outstanding bet for me. I think his class is going to shine through. You know, he's going to get out. He's going to go out in front. He's going to jump well. There might be something better handicap than him, but I just think he's just going to get out there, jump him silly, over Haydock as well. It's not the place you want to get left behind. And let's see if anything can catch him, because I thought it was a really good bet.
Yeah, Lord de Mesnil 6 to 1 then, back at this course and distance again, like I say, stayed all day, this lad. Really, really likable horse then for Rob. Andrew, who do you like?
Yeah, not many of them really. I mean, longer term, Musical Slave is interesting. You know, since the cheek pieces went on, he's had 2 runs, a win, and that second to UK in the Bet365 Gold Cup. 5 of his 6 wins have come in March, April, or May, though. So maybe he's a spring horse. He did win on New Year's Day once, but you just worry about a horse at 7 to 1, whether there's bigger fish to fry in the spring, and it could be a case of he's going to need this. It's what he's won for later in the season. Lord de Mesnil, I did a really good look at because of his sort of love of Haydock. It was just that last time he ran here in February when he completely bombed out over 3.5. Probably a bit harsh to sort of judge him on that, but he's the sort of early mover, 7s into 6s. I could see him going well. Houston, Texas, time and time again, you see these Nicky Richards horses who sort of come a little bit south after sort of running at Ayr and Kelso and Carlisle and bomb out. And I just wonder, with his last 3 runs having sort of taken place at Carlisle, whether Haydock's going to be his cup of tea. So I was thinking he's probably short enough. He's probably priced up solely on his last time, his recent form figures. Fontaine Collage has also been nibbled out 6s from 7s. Again, Venetia Williams after a 302-day break. Some slight note of caution from what we discussed earlier on, but I would still want Fontaine Collage on my short list. Truckers Lodge wasn't out of it, and I was tempted to take a chance on Rapper, which I think is the way I'm going to go for Henry Daly. His horse has been running well, 6 winners from 16 runners in the past fortnight as we record this, and does often go well second time back, or second or after a break. So despite having only finished 9th at Ascot last time, that was when it was a 40 to 1 shot. That was a hot race. So in the hope that he's ridden fairly prominently. I mean, you look at his last couple of wins, chase leader, sat in second place early, and is sort of in touch with leaders. So when he's had sort of smallish fields, he tends to race up there. When it's big fields, he tends to get shuffled back. Perhaps he's a scorpion after all, a bit quirky. Perhaps he doesn't like. He can't fight to hold his position in big fields. So there's not a million runners. So Rapper 16 to 1, given the form of the yard, maybe he can outrun his odds.
Yeah, definitely. So like I say, Henry Daly are having a really good time with things, Jimmy the Digger and such like as well. So yeah, Rapper 16 to 1 then for you, Andrew, in what is pretty open race, all things considered, but both the lads taking on Houston, Texas at the head of the market. Now that's all of our scheduled races done. So Andrew, I'll throw it back to you, please, for anything from anywhere else.
Not at this point. No, keep an eye on my column, as we always say, because there'll probably be something in there on Saturday.
Definitely do. Wise words there to look at the column. Rob, anything from anywhere else?
No, I'll just be reading Daryl and Andrew's column.
Enjoying that like the rest of us. Yeah, like the rest of us, and just lifting all of their work for my own is what I shall be doing. So Rob, then I'll throw it back to you, please. So you can't lift it off of Andrew. What's your nap?
Yeah, Lord de Mesnil. Menil. Sorry, I can't pronounce it.
You're probably right. I wouldn't take my pronunciation as being right. Anything could happen. So
Lord de Mesnil. Yeah.
Cool. Lord de Mesnil then in the race we just discussed there in the 3:35 at Haydock. And Andrew, any other pronunciations for you? And what's your nap?
I'll go Wakool in the big race. That's the big race, as in the numerically big race, the 225 at Haydock, the Betfair Stairs race. Given those sort of 10 wins all places from 10 runs in the cheap pieces, and perhaps gone a little bit under the radar, being trained by Nick Alexander.
Yeah, oh darn, you completely got in my race before me. So because I can't do Constitution Hill, I can't go Plutard, I can't go Long Presse. Might just go treble for that, but no, I'm going to go to the same race. I might as well do, to be honest with you. I think all three of them will win. So yeah, but best not. I best just nail my colours for mass with one horse. So I'm going to go head to head with you, Andrew, going to the same race, the 225 at Haydock, and I'll go Run for Oscar, who's a much shorter price. I'd probably prefer to go with Andrew, sit with Wakool, but Run for Oscar then for Charles Burns for me. So thank you so much to the lads for all of their hard work. Thank you to Rob for standing in for Daryl this week. To Andrew, as he's always here, big thank you to you. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy this weekend's action and best of luck with your selections.